Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with Golden Opportunities Coaching. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome to those of you who are seasoned veterans of what we do around here. What we do around here is we bring about conversations about topics that are about social, psychological, emotional, and coaching related topics. We try to do that in an audio format as often as we can. The more we can do that, the more people we can serve, and that's a good thing, right? In any event, if you're interested in working with a coach and dealing with some emotional challenges or goal setting and all the things that associate with that, it can be super valuable. And so there's a couple ways you can do that. The first way is to get in touch with me through Twitter at PO Perception. The second way is to go to my website, which is available in a link in the About Me section of this YouTube page. Either way is a good option, and you can get where you need to be relatively quickly. In any event, we're going to talk about things about high functioning depression that people may not know, or things that one may benefit from knowing. High functioning depression often is called masked depression or functional depression, meaning the person may not even appear depressed, quite often doesn't, and there are people that may know them for months, even years, sometimes decades, that wouldn't even classify them as a depressed person. This is because they usually are able to mask the symptoms so well that only the person in their inner circle who's with them around the clock is going to ultimately notice the symptoms in a way that, you know, leads to resolution and or the need for further conversation. These individuals are great chameleons who, for the most part, don't want anyone to see the weakness related to their depression, and so they are extremely careful and sensitive about how they're perceived and seen. This can be problematic for a number of reasons, not including the amount of trauma and hardship that a person going through HFD deals with, and deals with on their own predominantly, can be overwhelming for those individuals. The first thing is they bluff through a lot of things. When they're asked how they feel, they have stories, internal stories, that are pretty robust. And so you might say, how do you feel? And they're, oh, I did this and I did that, and I'm good, and I'm bad over here, and da 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 da. And they're giving you hints into, their life experience, their process of daily living. They may even give you some things that are valuable, but they're not going to give you two things. They're not going to give you the leverage of knowing something is bothering them or that they don't have control of it. And secondly, they're not going to give you the impression that they are having a bad emotional go of it. The shame associated for the person with high functioning depression in the fact that they don't have the ability to control their emotions and or regulate them in a way that ultimately, is more manageable and more acceptable within society standards, is something that the average person with HFD struggles with in a way that is quite maddening to them. Often this means, as I mentioned earlier in the audio, that there's no proof that they have any real problem, except that it becomes increasingly, step 3, hard for them to focus. Now, this is because they're trying to manage and hold up the public image, the facade and the mask that people see them with, rather than admitting they're struggling or bothered or whatever. It's virtually impossible for these individuals to ask for any level of consistent help because the social stigma associated with depression and the idea that they fooled people for so long, they're afraid to let people down if they admit they're having more of a struggle than most would imagine. But a person that has high functioning depression who has a bad day, they actually may short circuit their brain. This means they may go into extreme emotions, rage, sadness, anger, despondency, perhaps suicidal ideation. Now, most of the time, these individuals will do that behind closed doors because they don't want anyone to see. On the rare case that somebody does see it, they immediately or almost immediately make an attempt to explain away the behavior and divert attention from the behavior. The diversion may be something as simple as asking how the other person is doing, maybe something as simple as asking, about a movie or music or some form of entertainment, anything to divert the conversation from the fact that the person who is struggling with HFD actually has a discernible problem that needs addressing, because to address it means that they may need to go for help. If they go for help, then they're, again, afraid to look weak. The importance, but the difficulty of a routine is also something worth looking into in these situations. The routine helps the highly depressed person or with high functioning depression to kind of control their life, and sometimes it's compartmentalized down to every 15 minutes, every half hour, every hour, filling the time so that there's always a task to keep at hand so emotions don't overwhelm. However, the perfectionism that tends to come out when these individuals try to have those types of relationships with the routine can be very overwhelming and somewhat painful. So hopefully all of this has been helpful. Again, if you're struggling with anything in this realm, please feel free to reach out for help. If not with me, with a qualified professional somewhere that can really assist you in this way. And hopefully this has been helpful to you thus far. Keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.